and welcome to another episode of the Glacially Musical Podcast, Beer, Metal, Swearing, and Vinyl. If you are here for our new series on the early records of Mastodon, thank you. Here are the departments for the show: beer check, vinyl check, news check, shirt check, meat of the episode. This week's beer check, the Glacially Musical Beer of the Week, is Maker's Mark Bourbon. A pretty significant pour. I don't know if you've noticed, it is being chilled by my favorite ice cube, which is not the wrapper. It is my best dad ice cube, quite frankly. I am going through some stuff. Some stuff happened yesterday that I am still working on getting over. At the Nico Case show last night, I actually was bawling. Well, not bawling, but I was getting close to bawling and having some really horrible thoughts. So I just need to drink those away. But as always, I am joined by my good friend, a man who genuinely believes that everything he says is right, even though he's not me. Keefy Confidence. How we doing today, buddy?
Keefy, lack of self-confidence. How you doing, partner?
I am doing better than I was yesterday. I'll say that much, and I'm not gonna. There will be no elaboration.
We'll be taking no questions at this time from the press. Thank you.
Correct. I am not Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson. Oh, did anybody hear about that one? We're not going to discuss it, but it's pretty significant. Look up North Carolina Lieutenant Governor Robinson. It's a
No idea.
big doings.
No clue, but
That's
all
as
right.
political as I'm going to get this week. What are you drinking?
You already did the whiskey check. I'm having another Liquid Death.
Murder your thirst.
Murder your thirst. Liquid Death is just busting it out with all the cool merch and different flavors. There was a hot fudge sundae flavor I was trying to get, but it's gone. There's also a new, like, multi-berry flavor that's limited edition. I haven't seen it anywhere, but this is another Bury It Alive.
I
Pop
apologize.
and
Oh, I talked over the pop. What a dickhole.
it's not a beer pop, so it's just a seltzer pop. It's fine, buddy.
All
What
right.
do you want to say?
Well, I wanted to say I'm actually really excited to see how well Liquid Death is doing. It is not my favorite beverage in the world. I don't like flavored carbonated waters. I'm like Ted Lasso with that. You know, I'll spit it out if I drink it. That's just Nick. But I like what they're doing, and I like the fact that every concert I go to, I see them.
Yeah,
Uh,
they're prevalent now. I don't know if you may not know this. This is another fun factoid about Keefy and GhostCultMag.com. We were one of the very first affiliate partners of Liquid Death when they really made it like money making for you to promote them. So literally they sent us, we put ads on our site, we did some integrations with them, we did some press release publishing for them, and they sent us cases and cases of this stuff during the pandemic, and shirts I still have, and a hat, and like swag. And then we had an affiliate code, so anytime we mentioned them or linked them, they would make sales off our link, and we would get money, actual cash.
I
And then they
feel
kind of,
like
as they got, go ahead.
no, you go ahead. No, I thought you were done.
I was just gonna say, as they got bigger and bigger, they phased that out, and they used to sponsor bands, and now they have affiliates with bands where they'll give them the free product, but they won't give them anything else. But they'll give them free Liquid Death because it's also at every venue. I mean, like it's Blasco from Rob Zombie again, and Ozzy's band and other things, manager of Black Label Society and other Ice Nine Kills. He is one of the founders of Liquid Death, so he's actually involved with their marketing. He's involved with them. So like, it's been very interesting to see the development of the brand. And yes, I agree. Like $45 for a shirt sometimes is dumb. And the coffin that they recently auctioned off full of Liquid Death, that's actually a cooler and not a body coffin. I guess you could get buried in it, but it's not meant
So
for
it's like the
human
Kiss
bodies.
coffin.
It's like the Kiss coffin. They're literally doing the Kiss playbook of merch, and people are into it. There's a
Oh, I was just gonna say.
$5,000 Liquid Death gold plated fridge if you want like a Trumpy thing.
No, I'm an actual rich guy. I'm not. I'm totally not. No, I was going to say that I believe that somebody on this podcast was doing some commercials for Liquid Death a couple of years ago. Somebody with hair. The one guy in this podcast with hair.
The one guy in this podcast with pubic hair. Anyway, I
I'm
there is
sorry.
a
Whoa, whoa,
there
whoa.
there is a
Oh,
he
are we
just
getting
got that
personal?
reference. Well, I mean, it's gonna get very personal today. You don't know.
Clearly.
So really quick, yeah, like we have a commercial that we did for Liquid Death on our YouTube. I'll link it in the description. It's pretty funny. It's only 15 seconds of your life. Go watch it. They actually used it on social media. They liked our thing. We made it just on our own. We were like, we're gonna do a fun video. We were stir crazy during 2021 in the spring. We were still kind of out of work and on lockdown in California, and I had just moved here, and we literally made a video, and it's me dumping a liquid death on myself. And it's before they had all the flavors, and it was just water and sparkling water, but it's still pretty great to me. We talked about maybe doing another one someday, but not right now. And that's it. Cheers, sir. Cheers. We'll get through these tough times together.
Cheers, my friend. And just for the record, in case anybody has noticed that I'm now wearing my glasses, it is because I hate the way I look without them. And,
cool. I wore my glasses for a long time on the pod, but I stopped. I need a better script. They're not working anymore.
I can't really read my computer screen with them, but I can't not read them also, if that makes any sense. I just didn't want to have my light reflecting in them. And I especially when we record these Thursday sessions, which I may fight for you to do this forever. But whenever we do this, I get much better lighting. It just works out. It's especially now while we're, in the fall, the near fall, I guess I should say. Anywho, I'm going to move on to my vinyl check now. If we are good with the prelims, I think we're good. So
indeed. News check, right?
No, vinyl check.
Oh, sorry, my bad. I'm bugging out. I'm all. So, you're having a tough time. Needless to say, this is always a very complicated week in my life. My birthday was the other day. Hooray! Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, as I said somewhere, I think.
Yeah, you did. And then today.
I'm really bad at that, just for the record.
It's fine, buddy. And you're in my heart every day, and my thoughts never too far. So you don't have to wish me a happy birthday. You are my present in my life. The gift of your presence is my present.
That's real close to grabbing one's own junk territory, I'm just going to say.
Well, and then I'll turn around and kick myself in the junk. Today's also the anniversary of my mom passing away right after my birthday. So it's always a mixed bag. Yeah, right? Isn't that shitty? But I did spend my last birthday with her, for a whole day. So that was nice. It's a good memory. Generally speaking, remember the people as they lived, not sad eternally because they passed. She was really great. I love music partially because of her. It's all good. She's wonderful, guides everything I do. But tough. Hey, happy birthday. Hey, also mom's dead. So every year, same couple of days.
I'm not trying to one-up you by any stretch. I hope that is clear before I say what I'm about to say, but I know exactly what you're going through because my father-in-law died on my birthday. And
I am aware of that, and it's very sad and tragic. And you were close, and he sounded great, and I'm really sorry.
Well, a big part of him he is in this podcast as much as he probably would hate that. I'm kidding. He would have loved it because he is the one that gave me my turntable. I did have to replace I had to replace the receiver. I think I discussed that. I talked about that. Been using the new one. Got it going good. Pretty happy. So no, I totally get it. So, cheers to everybody we have. Cheers to everybody that we've left behind. And let's move forward and do fun things. Can you hear that?
I gotta say, whenever I hear a clinking, I know it's a whiskey, and when I hear the ice in a whiskey clinking, it gives me a little thrill.
It just makes me feel so fudging classy, Anybody that's on YouTube needs to look at me right now. I got my crystal and a lot of whiskey. I'm not going to be talking as much this week, so I can drink whiskey.
Allow me to say, well, for the next 4 out of 5 weeks, you're not going to be talking as much as me. Allow me to say that is an adult portion.
No, this is not an adult portion. An adult portion would have been half this. This is a mind eraser portion. This is what Lister would be drinking on the night that he realized he has nothing to live for. Anyway, if I may continue now, let's first make Keefy angry. My first vinyl check this week is Eric Clapton's Slow Hand. You know what? Say what you want about Eric Clapton being an absolute pile of steaming human garbage. He did make some great songs. And I got this at Joe STL Records. I'm jumping up in my check just because I want to make sure something gets into the episode. But this is on RSO Records. It's got the cool silver label. My Rory Gallagher record also has the same label. This one was a little bit cheapy because if you look, it's got a little bit of somebody left this in the basement way too long. That's what that's got going on. But it was $15, and they had a sale that was 20% off all used vinyl that week. Now, the other one I got created a much better situation. And Keefy is going to be spitting up here real quick. Previous podcast subject, Black Sabbath. I'm not sure if I mentioned this on the podcast or not, but I'm going to mention it now. About 6 weeks ago, I realized I have every single Black Sabbath record not featuring Ozzy Osbourne. So from literally Heaven and Hell to Forbidden, I have them all. But I do not have every Ozzy Osbourne one. So I have decided to go back and buy the Ozzy Osbourne records. This week also purchased at Joe's Records STL, previous podcast subject, Black Sabbath. And we did the 70s entire run. Never Say Die. This is another just standard black because these are old original pressings. These are not anything. No modern stuff, no cool colors, nothing like that. And there's the back cover, nothing really to talk about. But as I get up to the counter, what did I... Oh, and I bought my kid a Fiona Apple? Is that her name? Yeah, Fiona Apple record. Because her and Lawyer Wife really wanted this album, but it was $46.
Is it the one with her debut with Criminal? The best song she ever made?
I don't care.
I think the last one she has is also exceptional. So I know her first record, there's a middle record in there, there's a few others, and then her last one a couple of years ago, like Bolt Cutter or something, Daisy Cutter, I don't know, it's really good.
I'm sorry, I just love this clinking. I'm getting a big kick out of this today. I have no idea what the hell the Fiona Snapple record was, and I don't give two craps because it's Fiona Snapple, and she can just go to hell for all I care, because her music is worthless. I'm sorry, her music is worthless to me. That is just
Fiona Snapple. Oh my god. I'm going to hashtag Fiona Snapple.
Don't. I stole that from Saturday Night Live, like a lot of the jokes that I do on this show. I stole from...
We're going there.
Anna Gasteyer was doing a Lilith Fair parody. And she's like, I'm backstage. I'm like, what are you, Fiona Snapple? Anyway, I remember that. So the man looks at me as we're getting these records. I believe that was Joe, actually. And he looks at me and he smiles, this knowing smile. And he looks me straight in the eyes. And he's a good guy, big metal guy, big extreme metal guy. So it's always fun to go there. As I'm getting older and it's not my house, the music can be a little bit loud. Now, in my house, I want the music just fudging louder than crap. My kid tells me to turn it down. But if I'm out in public, no, turn that crap down. I don't want to hear your crap. I want to hear my crap. He looks at me and he goes, can you believe there are people out there that don't like this album? And I had to look at him and I go, well, frankly, I think it sucks. And all of the I sapped all of the joy from his face in one sentence. And he looks at me and he goes, what? Why are you buying this? And I told him, because I realized I have all the records without him, so I need to get all the records with him too. Because, I mean, it's only fair, right? I mean, if I have all the Tony Martin records, I mean, we can say we're friends here. We're friends, right? We're friends.
Close friends. Okay.
We're bosom Zoom call-y mates. That's hot. You're Peter Scolari.
It's not OnlyFans. I slept on your couch. I mean, like...
You're Peter Scolari, I'm Tom Hanks.
I petted your kitty. Like, we're close.
Fair enough.
When I saw Nick coming out of school that day...
Oh, God, it's just getting weirder. Where was I? Oh, yeah, so... If we're honest with each other, those Tony Martin records, if you took all the really great songs out of them and put them on one record, you'd probably have 1.5 great record. And so if I've got 5 of those, I don't even have 5 Ozzy Black Sabbath records. Look, I made a mistake because I have I have Sabbath, Paranoid, Master, Sabbath, Bloody. Oh, I'm up to 5 now. I now have as many Ozzy records as I do Tony Martin. So kudos, Ozzy. And yes, I will hate myself to do this, but I will repurchase Technical Ecstasy. I yield my time.
Yield your time. Yeah, I mean, I'm just holding out for. I'm holding out for a remaster of Born Again. I'm holding out hope. I want
You
it
mean a
so
remix?
bad. Whatever.
Not a
Fix it.
remaster. A
Fix it and put it.
remaster will do nothing.
Oh, okay.
It'll just clearly sound like garbage. You'll get a clearer version of the garbage. Because the issue with Born Again, for anybody who does not know, is when they mixed that record, they were in a studio that had a busted tweeter. So one of the speakers had the speaker was broken. So when they listened to it on the road, because they finished the mixing, and they mixed it for the broken tweeter, they went on the road and they heard it, and it came out while they were touring, and they got it, and they listened to it, and they went, "Oh my God, what the hell is this?" As for will there be a new one, I will say this much: I cannot speak to certainties regarding the Universal Fire. I think it's a fair statement. But a lot of the Rhino re-releases for Black Sabbath have been absolutely 100% beautiful. I actually greatly appreciate the Tony Martin records far more now that I have them on quality vinyl. And the repressings, the Tony Martin box set and Odomini, previous podcast subject, those were pressed lovingly and wonderfully. So if you have any interest in them, pick it up. So I don't get tempted to be a flipper. Because what do we say about the flippers, Keefy? Fudge them flippers.
Fudge them.
Fudge them.
Fudge them.
So buy it up so I don't even have the temptation. But yeah, so
yeah. Let's give some thanks to Rhino, man. I don't remember who Rhino's parent company is, but like they have been killing it. And by the way, like all the metal releases of Rhino, a former very prominent music journalist and publicist is the head of like metal at Rhino. I think they have an even more important job than that. But if they're at Rhino high up, you know these metal records are getting like a priority
very
shove. You
know? I really wish Rhino
Jones
would have been the domestic release for the Iommi Hughes records. I think we discussed that recently. The Tony Iommi and Glenn Hughes records, Fused and DEP sessions are being being finally released on vinyl. I purchased a copy of Fused. I did not buy DEP sessions, and I have no idea what in the hell website that was I bought it from. I tried to find one in America, so crossing fingers, I did it on PayPal, so I got 6 months.
I nearly got snookered into buying, like, there are fake websites with garbage CD, vinyl out there. They're capitalizing on our consumerism in Armenia. A couple of years ago, that Guns N' Roses put out like the $700-800 Appetite for Destruction box set. No shame.
I wish I did not remember it, but yes, I do.
And it's down to like $250 now if you really want it, and it's awesome. And I really want it. I want it. It's CDs and vinyl and posters and knickknacks, and I want it.
You are way more of a box set guy than I am, though.
I am indeed, and I'm very.
I own.
I'm sick. We're going to talk about.
Sorry, in terms of box sets, I have precisely 3. One Metallica on vinyl. I got Justice box. I've got the Live Shit Midget Purge box. Although I cannot find my Seattle tape, so I don't know where that is, which is unfortunate. And then I've got the Anno Domini set. I'm just. Oh, and what do you count Warheads on Foreheads?
Is that Megadeth?
Yeah, the Megadeth greatest hits they put out about 5-6 years ago.
It's in a gun case, right?
No, it's in a box. I can grab it.
It's like an ammo box. I mean, no, don't get up. But like, I think it's in an ammo box, right?
No, it's just in a. No, it's not. Not my vinyl copy. It's just it's in a case.
Okay, so I think it counts as a collection or a compilation.
It's the only Megadeth I have at this point because it's 4 goddamn records, and I really should. I haven't listened to it in a while. I need to listen to it.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm sorry. I'm just yapping to fill my brain. I apologize.
No worries, pal. No worries. I'm sorry. I'm just everything is on fire, and heavy lies the head that wears the crown when you're the owner of a music website.
But you know what's
Um,
awesome? Your crotch is not on fire, probably.
no, no crotch fire is a good idea.
But what is awesome is make the thing you do to get it on fire.
No, it's sometimes. Is it my turn for the vinyl check?
Yes, I will shut the hell up now.
No worries. Speaking of Black Sabbath, look what I have for the vinyl check. Bada bang, Nativity in Black. Nick already has this. It is in double gatefold because it is a double vinyl. I love
Fair.
this. Is probably my favorite tribute record of all time.
That, if I could
There's
jump in, that was the record that like launched 1,000 of ships. The NIB tribute comes out in what, 92, I believe, 93 maybe, and then
Four.
all of us, was it 4? Damn, that's 30 years ago. God damn it, anyway. And then all of a sudden, everybody's got like 50 of them coming out, and then you've got like the no-name people like Bob Kulick and Bruce Kulick jumping onto Metallica tributes where they've like created. I mean, the tribute era was nuts.
It really was. It still is, actually. I think it still is. This is beautifully done. Sharon oversaw this. They have like little tarot cards for each band on the back cover. The artwork is gorgeous. Have you seen this? Look at this beautiful, incredible artwork. I love this thing. I still have my hype sticker. Nee, 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 nee.
I've started keeping those damn things, and I feel like such a turd doing it. But I cut them out and I stick it in the sleeve and go. You know what? If I ever sell this, I'm gonna get $5 more.
I sat around some smokers last night at bingo, and now I don't feel too good. But I got a little bit of a hack today. I
Where the
apologize.
hell did you go? You can't smoke in California. That's what Randall told me on the Clerks cartoon.
We have outdoor patios with smoking all over all over San Francisco. Just a plain old 180 gram black vinyl, nothing fancy. I think there's a red version somewhere out there on Discogs, so I'm not gonna undo both of them. But here it is.
I thought that was red.
No, it's. I mean, there is a red version. I only have the plain, but I do love this. So this is the repress, and probably not the limited edition one. There is the part 2 of this, and I think there's an unofficial part 3 as well. And then there's a lot of others, but like, this is my favorite.
Real quick to anybody out there listening to us for vinyl tips, and I think our next chaser might be our next vinyl tips episode. We haven't done one in quite some time, so it may be time to roll through that. Roll through that station again. Don't worry about the phrase limited edition. And I will get to that. I will expound on that more when we get to the news section, which, unless Keefy has anything else, I think we're there.
We are there. Continue, sir.
Alrighty. First big news today, as everybody has heard by now, by the time you listen to this. Metallica has announced their 2025 dates. The 2025 dates are slightly different than the 23 and 24 dates, being as they will have a run of 7 cities where they do no repeats, 2 nights. And then they'll do another 7 cities where they do 1 night. And it took me about 8 or 9 times reading the story today to notice that Limp Bizkit is opening for Metallica. I have concerns about that. I don't know if anybody else does, but I do. Next bit of news, more touring news if you don't mind. Iron Maiden has announced their first run of 2025 dates. It is all European dates. So Americans, do not fret yet. I've been told that there is going to be an announcement down the road of the American dates in 25. 25, 26, whatever. I'm just hoping that we get Iron Maiden back here in St. Louis. It has been since 2017 since they have come to my city. But I was discussing this actually with a buddy of mine today, my friend Mike the DJ. And Iron Maiden, frankly, in terms of pop music, not metal, but pop, really isn't that big. They don't ever sell. I've seen them 4 times at Riverport. I've seen them the last 4 times they have played the 20,000 seat amphitheater. And none of those times did they sell it out. I saw them in 1992, my very first concert, with Testament and Corrosion of Conformity. The first time I saw those 2 bands as well. Obviously, it was my first concert ever. However, love Testament going forward and have a moderate fondness for Corrosion of Conformity as well. But that show was rainy, and that was back in the day when tickets didn't sell out immediately, so you could actually buy. We bought them on the way to the show. We went to Streetside Records and bought our tickets. It was a $5 general admission plus $10, so I got in to see Iron Maiden for $15, and the entire lawn was empty. It was all in the seats, so it was only 7,000 of. They could have, the most they could have had was 7,000. The next couple times they came to town was in. I know they came on one of the Blaze Bailey tours, and my dumbass did not go. I regret that now, because then I could tell you how awesome and alternative and weird I am that I saw Iron Maiden with Blaze Bailey, like how I can tell you all day long the only time I saw Van Halen was with Gary Cherone. That is not on purpose, by the way. So then they didn't come again until, of course, the Brave New World tour, which was a great show. I do not recall how much that was full, but that was a reunion tour, so it doesn't count. Reunion tour numbers don't count, just like farewell tour numbers don't count. It's like in the Olympics during figure skating, they toss out the high, they toss out the low. The next time I saw them was in 2013 for the Redux of Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. Again, not full. And then the next time I saw them was 2017, and I was amazed they had come back so quickly for Book of Souls. That was actually the hottest day of the summer. It was 108 degrees, and Bruce Dickinson wore a hoodie on stage for the whole show, dumbass. And again, that was not full, and they have done several tours since then, and we have not gotten them. They don't come to St. Louis all that often. Iron Maiden, as much as I love them, as much as Keefy loves them, and as much as everybody listening to this podcast loves them, they're just not that big when it comes to pop music, when it comes to popular mainstream music. And to be the kind of place, the act that plays 20,000 seaters and sells 18 plus, you've got to be that kind of act. So hoping, fingers crossed, they're going to come back. And the next bit of news, I said I would not speak about Vinnie Vincent again until there was music. Vinnie Vincent on the Vinnie Vincent on the Vinnie Vincent Invasion Facebook page posted new music. It is just him wanking on his guitar without any vocals, but he did post something. So I will give you a kudos, Vinnie Vincent. Keep it up, and I'll buy it, and we'll do an episode on your record. And Keefy will hate me for that.
I mean, it won't be good.
No, it won't.
He can play, but it won't be good.
He can play, but he can't write. He can't write, and you know what he really can't do? He can't produce.
He can't do the music industry is what he can't do well.
He doesn't know when to say. He doesn't know when to say, "This is enough." He's like my kid when she was 4, and she would put a sticker on her bucket. And then when she was finished, the entire bucket would be covered in stickers 3 deep. That's Vinnie Vincent. That's a Vinnie Vincent song without Gina Paul to tell him no. So, and that is my news for the week.
You covered most of the news, which is great. I will say I have not seen Maiden in 5 years. They are playing in my area soon. I don't know if I'm gonna make it because of struggles. Struggle is real. I think the Metallica news is interesting. I thought they were going to take off next year. The money, again, it's like Slayer. The money must be astronomical. I think Metallica is probably pulling down $4 or $5 million a show.
I'm sure. Think about the show we went to. I spent $100 per night on tickets. Now, they sold, 75,000 the first night? And we were sitting 4 rows from the fucking ceiling. So if you just
I never want to walk up them stairs ever again.
I decided after that I am an adult. I am never going. If I cannot sit on the bottom rung at that dome, I ain't going. Period. It's not worth it. But so if that's $4 million if all the tickets cost the same money for the first night. And you know they didn't. So they probably cleared $8 million on tickets alone. And then they do the pop-up. They do all the takeovers. I think Metallica's clearing $10 million a show, which makes the song cover of the Rolling Stone accurate.
Yeah, I don't think 10 million. I think because
I
the
think it's 10
production.
million.
I think the production, even though they own everything, right? They own the rigging, they own the sound system, they own the stage, they bought everything. So they're not renting anything. They own everything. But I think Metallica is such a high like you don't realize that like 100, 200 people travel with the band. Like you don't realize that it's 2 sets of stages going to opposite cities. So when Metallica's setting up in St. Louis, the trucks are going to Chicago for Soldier Field. I'm just using that as an example. It's not actually what happened.
That's what happened on the last tour.
That's what's happened actually every tour since the 90s. They always
No,
have
I
2
mean
stage setups.
going to Soldier Field while they were playing Bush, they were on their way to Soldier on the last
Something
tour.
like that. Something like that. So like there's still a high production cost. The Metallica Circus, Metallica Incorporated. It's very expensive. I'm guessing there's probably like $500,000 or $600,000 per show to just do what they do: lights, pyro, tech, crew, everything, security.
You think that's it? I would have guessed like $2 million.
That's
honestly.
that's very. I think several $100,000 is very high. I know Tools is in the $300,000 or $400,000 range for their special effects.
Well, I can tell you that on Kiss's not the farewell tour, not the end of the road, but the tours leading up to that, their fee was $1 million. That was what you had to pay Kiss for them to show up at your venue.
Right. And then and then Kiss and Metallica have like different. So other bands don't have the negotiating power with Live Nation or Metallica. Whatever Metallica's getting splitting with Live Nation is a lot less than what other Live Nation takes from other bands at all their other venues. And Live Nation's opinion is, hey, we're going to sell every ticket of this thing. So if we sacrifice a little bit, we're still making a lot of money, more than we would if they didn't exist. So like we'll give them a more generous split. Just conversely, I was going to say, when I've seen Maiden in an arena, it's always every ticket sold. Every single ticket sold out.
An arena show is 12 to like 12,000.
No, but I'm saying like for Maiden, there was no top rung block off. It was the whole
right,
Barclays,
but that's still only 12,000.
No, 20 in New York, 19, 20, 22 in a lot of places. NHL.
The only way to get that high is if you go in the round, because they block off.
Don't know. They didn't in this case. Maiden played at the end. Again, this is just the last 2-3 times I saw them. Arenas only, sold out totally. So Newark.
At the time, the Kiel Center, later Sabbath, later Scottrade, now Enterprise Center, where I worked, the highest number of tickets they could sell was 22,000, and that was in the round where the Blues play. Now they have taken out seats because they're idiots, but the highest number they can have is still only 21,000, and that's in the round. An arena show has less people than an amphitheater show, but you sell more money because there are far more levels of tickets. At the amphitheater in out west, basically there's 4 price points in the seats, and then there's 1 price point for 65% of it, and that's usually far lower than what you're spending in the seats. So there's a much more prestige and much more dollars. So I would say Iron Maiden probably sold 13,000 the last 2 or 3 times I saw them. They didn't sell 20 though. And 20 is what this place holds in St. Louis and in most places. And an arena is 20 tops before you start doing configurations.
Fair enough. I'm just saying, maybe unfortunately to say, am I on mute? Unfortunately to say that.
No, you good, baby.
All right. Unfortunately to just say that St. Louis is not New York City, and so if you can sell out the arena in New York City and a little less in St. Louis, I don't think Iron Maiden cares. Nothing personal.
Oh, no. And just for the record, David Gilmour tickets at Madison Square Garden right now are $150. They are in the section that I don't even know qualifies as a section, but I asked Lawyer Wife, because she's got some trips, and I'm like, when are you in California? It is not when David Gilmour is there, and she's not going to the same place. Damn it.
Right.
because I saw the Inglewood show. You can get in for $100 on SeatGeek.
Those will
And
come down.
I'm like,
Those will
man,
come down.
I'll pay that much to see David.
Yeah, I hear you. I do have one plane ticket for credit with Southwest. That's like a free flight if I want it. But anyway, we'll see. Right now, the struggle is real. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not doing anything right now. What do I have for news? You covered all the main things. I will say Opeth's new album is now delayed because of vinyl production issues. There was originally coming out
That's
October
back.
8th. What?
Vinyl production issues are back.
They were unsatisfied with the production of the vinyl and the packaging.
Oh, that's a different deal. That's terrible, but awesome at the same time.
I concur. So a couple of bands have announced this. It could be a label thing. It could be a just whatever. It's supposed to be like an extravagant package, and so maybe because the concept record and a lot of things. So perhaps it's some issue with that. But they put a statement out today. Was coming out October 18th. Now coming out November 22nd. Yeah. Hard for me as a organization that does an album of the year vote. So. Which you will be invited to participate in if you like. I know you haven't really listened to a lot of records this year, probably, but if you want to catch yourself up, you could vote on it. Things.
If you want me to vote, I will, but it'll be completely ignorant.
David Gilmour, 1 through 10.
I got other records from this year, I think.
You do. Yeah, I don't really have much else to talk about, so I think we'll just move right on to the shirt check and the meat of the episode.
My shirt check this week is local fan favorite, Steve's Hotdogs. And just for the record, The Urge has announced a show in St. Louis, naturally, I believe on 11/29 at the Pageant, which is where I was to cover GWAR. And hopefully Keefy has read that and loved what I wrote and not hated it.
I have not read it yet because I'm like this right now. Sorry, I will read it though. Maybe post it tomorrow, depending on how good it is.
You don't need to read it. You can just post it. I mean, I think it's spectacular.
I read every single thing that goes on the site. I post. I am the final say of everything that goes on GhostCultMag.com. So if there's a problem with it, it's my fault.
If there's a problem,
I'll solve it. Check out
the hook.
Well, my DJ revolves it. We didn't talk about.
What did we talk about?
Because I'm living in a perpetual veil of sadness. We lost.
Oh shit.
We lost a couple of members of our family this week, but most notably, Juan Brujo from Brujeria died shockingly and suddenly on Monday, and it got announced yesterday. Juan Brujo, or Tuesday. This is 2 months to the day since Pinche Peach died from Brujeria. So they have now had 2 members pass away from a heart attack in 8 weeks. It's horrible.
I didn't realize that Pinche had died so... Wow.
Recently, yeah. Just literally the July 18th, September 18th. Like, not
damn
good.
it, anyway.
They decided to carry on without Peach. I don't know what the plan, like they were on tour, a day off on tour in West Virginia, chilling. He has a heart attack. They take him to the ER. He doesn't make it. And it's shocking. I hung out with them last fall, fall. They were really nice. People don't understand that everything with Brujeria was satire and tongue-in-cheek. They don't really want to kill white people. They're not actually a Mexican drug-dealing murderous gang. That's just a parody. But they were brilliant death metal makers. Like, I would do a Brujeria run. And there was, like, subtle comedy and political subtext to a lot of what they did. And, I'm just very sad that they're gone. I don't know if they can carry on with the loss of 2 guys. They were going to carry on without Peach. I don't know if they can carry on without Juan Brujo. But again, we're seeing lots of bands come back. And let me just say one last thing, just real segue before we do the shirt check. I'll do my shirt check and then we'll go on to the meat, because I'm going to be talking most of the rest of the episode anyway. Maybe I should make you do the albums of 2002, but in this series, or the albums of the year.
Okay.
Make you flip it so I don't have
I can
to
do my
talk constantly.
setup. I mean, I'm good at that still.
I don't know if you want to do that. I mean, like, I should probably do the setup. I'm an authority on the band, but if you want to take a shot at it,
I mean, I could do like the climate setup. I love doing that.
That's fair. I'll let you always do that. So I just want to, like, again, a lot of people are in their feelings about Linkin Park. Not always great looks. A lot of people are in their feelings about Power Trip opening for Pantera when Riley said he would never tour with Philip because he was a racist. Riley has been gone, 6, 7 years. Philip did that stuff 8, 9 years ago. Just saying. I'm not excusing. I'm just saying maybe if he met Philip today, he would think differently. They could have talked. So, here's the thing. Bands don't owe fans anything. I know we feel really... Listen, both Nick and I, our favorite band is Pink Floyd. And, like, it's so important to us. It means so much to us. It's so intrinsically tied to who we are as people. Our whole life experiences. Roger Waters is a horrible person. I'm not going to throw away my Pink Floyd music because Roger sucks.
I choose to believe that Roger's a senile old man who's gotten stupid.
Whatever. I don't even want to comment. I'm just saying, like, bands, Roger, Power Trip, Pantera, Linkin Park. I understand I spent all this money. My whole identity is wrapped around a band that says more about you than about the band and music culture. They don't owe you anything. Listen to me. I'm going to say this again on my show later on today. They don't owe you anything. They gave you music. If you can leave it or take it. I'm a righteous person, and I think Philip Anselmo is horrible, and I love Power Trip, and Riley wouldn't have wanted this, then don't support them. Linkin Park is horrible for going on without Chester. Don't support them. Plenty of other people will. All those shows, that handful of arena shows around the globe, you know how fast they sold out, Nick? Like that. That quick. Gone. Every ticket. By the way, arenas. Every ticket gone. 25,000 seaters around the world. We have yet to have the shoe drop on like a full-length tour, and it's coming because they have a record and everything. If you don't like it, if you don't like Emily because of her ties to Scientology, cool, and other things that she did that were not, very, very bad things. She definitely made an apology statement and distanced herself. That has to be good enough for some people. Linkin Park knew this was going to happen. They absolutely knew, and they did it anyway. So you know what? They don't. If you're hurt by this, move on to a new band. Listen to the old music with Chester. Listen to Pantera when Diamond Vinnie were alive, and don't acknowledge the current Pantera. Love Power Trip and don't support the new guys anymore.
You will be so much happier if you go that route. Period. Because you know what? You catch more flies with honey than you do with vinegar. And think about it. Why would you torture yourself? Just don't. Just don't. I'm trying to agree with Keefy. I don't know if that's coming across. I'm in a weird place today, so, but yeah, I'm gonna completely 100% second that.
I'm sorry to soapbox. I got that you.
No, it's fine. And I'm also gonna pour out some Yingling Pilsner.
Nice. I'm just saying, like, the bands don't owe you anything. If you're mad at them, cool. Move on and keep it to yourself. Just like religion.
The bands owe you one thing: what you paid for. If I bought your record, you owe me a record, and that is it. That is literally it.
Yeah, a lot of people think that bands owe them something. They don't owe you anything. Really, they don't.
No. And if you want to see how much how much they realize they don't owe you, go to a meet and greet. Go spend $500 to go meet one of these people, and look at them. Look down on you with disdain.
I don't think that's fair. That's not
okay.
Fair.
I'm thinking about it. Okay. I'm talking about Ace Frehley. That's a different deal. Never mind.
Well, fuck Ace Frehley, man. He's a fucking, speaking of geriatric senile idiots, who's still
very true.
A drunken asshole no matter what he says about being sober.
Completely
I watched
agree.
the videos. He's not sober at all at these shows.
No.
We're gonna talk about Mastodon in a future episode where, like, the guitar player had a traumatic brain injury, and he's not the same guy he was after that. Neither is Ace because of years of alcoholism and drugs. He's not the same guy he was when he was whatever years old when he joined Kiss. But I don't think that's fair. I've done meet and greets where everybody was wonderful. So, like, I don't think that's your own personal, bro.
That's cool. That's Nick. That's Nick.
Anyway, that's my point. I'm sorry if people disagree with that. By the way, you also can unsubscribe from this podcast. I don't care.
Whoa, no, you cannot. You have to stay here.
No, I don't require.
And you have to tell friends.
All right. Nick, tell us about the year 2002 and the year of metal a little bit.
Let's think about 2002. 2002 was an odd year, and it's actually interesting when we're recording this because 2002 was the year after 9/11. 9/11 happens, and I don't know the average age of the listener here, but 2002 in America was an inspiring year. It was the last year that I can remember where we were united as a people against a common foe. And every month, every week after that, it changed. So, real quick, let's just take a look at who released records this year. 36 Crazy Fists, The Acacia Strain, Agalok.
Do you want to talk about if you have these records? Because I have some of these records.
If just you know what, you just shoot in. I don't have any of these that I've mentioned yet.
You gotta say titles, because then people don't know.
Oh, I apologize. You know what? You're right. I only mentioned artists. So, 3 Inches of Blood, Battle Cry Under a Winter Sun. 36
Great album.
Crazy.
I don't have it on vinyl.
36 Crazy Fists, Bitterness the Star. Great title.
Yeah, decent record.
The Acacia Strain and Life is Very Long.
Great album. Don't have it.
Agalok, The Mantle.
Incredible album. Questionable band, but probably worth having.
Speaking of questionable, All That Remains, Beneath Silence and Solitude.
Not their best record. Their better stuff is after. I don't know. It's a questionable. I just don't like the singer's politics.
Correct me.
Like,
am I not? You know what? I might have somebody else in my brain.
Are you thinking of As I Lay Dying?
No. Fuck those guys.
All right. That guy went to prison. We forgave them. So it's.
I do not. No, hell no. Moving forward, Amon Amarth versus the World. Argosland, Incredible Bigotry, Anvil, still going strong. Atreyu, Suicide Notes and Butterfly Kisses. Avantasia, The Metal Opera Part 2. No. I'm just going to start skipping to more important bands, in my opinion.
Yeah, just pick a handful.
Yeah, Bathory, Nordland 1, Behemoth, Zoskia Cultus, Between the Buried and Me, self-titled. Black Label Society, 1919 Eternal.
Great.
Bolt Thrower, Honor, Valor, Pride. The most brutal band on this list, Bon Jovi, Bounce. I have no idea what that even is. Cannibal Corpse, Gore Obsessed, Chevelle.
I think Bounce is the record with It's My Life.
No, is it?
Yeah, it is.
I don't think it is.
I saw Bon Jovi play at like halftime of a Giants football game in 2002, and that's the song they played. So I'm pretty sure that's that record.
I thought It's My Life was a little bit sooner. Anyway, Chevelle, Wonder What's Next, Cold Chamber, Dark Days, Danzig 777, Luciferi.
Love that record, underrated.
I don't know any Danzig after 3 because I don't care. Decapitated, Nihility, Demon Hunter, Def Leppard, X, not a great record. Dio, Killing the Dragon. It's a Dio record. That's as good as I can say. So do I.
I wish I didn't.
I have it. I've heard it. It's not. It's a Dio record. That's all I'm gonna say. Dio definitely sings on that album. Dream Theater, 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence. Electric Wizard is now a thing with Let Us Pray. Fear Factory, Concrete.
So. That's a re-release that never should have come out, that Fear Factory did not approve. That's the demo that got them signed, but that record was not supposed to be released and was released against the wishes of the band by Roadrunner. Typical and famous for doing that.
Well,
not current Roadrunner, but old Roadrunner.
Right, now I hate it.
You can also, if you hate nu metal, which Nick loves nu metal, if you hate nu metal and rap metal, that's the record that got Russ Robinson on the radar of other bands to work with. Like when Fear Factory did that demo in like 1990, 91, that production is the production that later shows up on Korn, Limp Bizkit, Cold Chamber, Deftones. Just absorb that for a second.
No. Friend of the show, Danny Nichols' favorite band, Hammerfall, drops Crimson Thunder. Hatebreed, Perseverance. High on Fire, Surrounded by Thieves.
Great album.
Immolation, Nick's personal embarrassment, Sons of Northern Darkness. I'm sorry, Unholy Cult. Immortal, Sons of Northern Darkness.
Yes, Immortal is great. Immortal, by the way, that's like the classic Immortal record with Abbat and everybody. The pictures in the forest. What's this? What's that? That's where that comes from. Great Hatebreed record that year also. Perseverance is rules. Great workout music if you're going to lift them weights.
Fair enough. I do not do that. In Flames, you're out to Romaine.
Great.
Killswitch Engage is now a thing, alive or just breathing.
That's their classic second record. It rules. Thank you.
King Diamond, Abigail 2, The Revenge. I
wish it didn't
believe.
exist.
What?
It's not that great. It's okay.
I believe in the King Diamond series we were going to go up to that one because I had never actually heard it. But
we did all the King Diamond and Merciful Fate though. Like
no, we did not go past. We tapped out.
Do another one?
No. We actually tapped out on that series because you and I both were like, "Oh my god, we are just in
fatigue."
Actually, we were in crap on crap.
Yeah.
So I've not heard it. Isis Oceanic. Kylesa.
Phenomenal. So two things. Oceanic just had an anniversary yesterday. Monday. Phenomenal record. Isis, the band, would be a band I would do a series on in a heartbeat. Kylesa just reunited. I absolutely love everything about that band, and we'll talk about them in a second because they are not interrelated to Mastodon, but somewhat.
All right, I am just gonna shoot through this a little bit thinner than I've been going. Lacuna Coil, Kamali's, Man-O-War. Fuck those guys, and they're. I just don't like them. I'm sorry. Nothing wrong with them as far as I know. Meshuggah, Nothing. Mudvayne, The End of Things to Come. Nile, In Their Darkened Shrines. Norma Jean, Bless the Martyr, Kiss the Child. Opeth, Deliverance. Orange Goblin, Coup de Grace. Otep, Sevestra. Propane is still a thing. Shreds of Dignity. We need to do a Propane series. Rotting Christ, Genesis. Saxon, Heavy Metal Thunder. Let's see what else. Soulfly 3, Symphony X, The Odyssey, System of a Down. Steal this album. Still have not heard that. Tyr, How Far to Asgard, Theory of a Dead Man, self-titled. I hate them, but that is an important record. That is not.
Why do you hate them? That seems very strong.
I don't enjoy.
Okay.
I don't hate them.
Hate is like you hate them. I
hate
hate Journey.
Hate is what I am, because beneath this heart there beats the heart of man. To all your martyrs and saviors, you got to save yourself. Yeah. What song is that?
Dude, fuck if I know. Come on.
That is Hate by Kiss, the opening track on their greatest record no one's ever heard, Carnival of Souls.
Fuck Carnival of Souls, bro.
What the fuck? No!
Stop repping that garbage record, man.
I will never stop repping that record. That record is great. Anyway, so 2002, if Keefy can let me talk and do the thing he asked me to do.
Go ahead.
I'm smiling. I've not laughed all day. That is awesome. 2002 is actually a great year for metal. There are a lot of people that are on the back nine, and a lot of people coming in the front nine. We didn't see Black Dahlia Murder. We're a couple of years out from that. We did not, but we did get Vader. We got System of a Down. We got Theory of a Dead Man. Again, I don't like, but still whatever. Megadeth puts out a live record, Rude Awakening Live, which is quite a good record. Meshuggah is now a thing. Electric Wizard, Orange Goblin. Stoner metal is now starting to really divert from mainstream metal. New metal has gone the wayside. We are now getting into metalcore. We are getting into neo thrash. The world is changing. We are at, what is the opposite of a confluence? Whatever that is.
I'm not as smart or articulate as you. You tell me.
I don't know that there is an opposite of a confluence. That spot where everything comes together. Imagine that Superman is flying around the Earth the other way. So now the waters are going backwards. Yeah, now the waters are going
reverse
backwards.
The poles, which would catastrophically toss us off our axis and throw us into the sun and not save us at all. We're not going to turn time back. We're going to ruin the Earth and send the planet hurtling into nothing.
If I could quote Cher singing about Superman, which would have really happened in that movie, if I could turn back time, I would have found a way.
Oh
to
my
not
God.
throw you all to the sun.
How did share also come into this? Oh man. Hashtag free share.
Just for the record, I will be seeing Letterkenny favorite K. Trevor Daly, aka Squirrely Dan, this month or next month.
Not Steely Dan, but Squirrely Dan.
Squirrely, that's his character in Letterkenny, Squirrely Dan. Yeah.
I've never seen the show. I have no
You
idea.
never watched
Um,
Letterkenny?
Not once. You know
Fudge.
this. Not once. And the other one you like, The Mighty Boosh. Never seen it. And what's the other one you like with Sudeikis as the soccer coach? Never seen it.
Ted Lasso. It's
I've
right
never
there.
seen it.
You
I
can
don't.
see him. It's right there.
That's as much of it as I've ever seen. I've never seen one
Oh
second
my
of it.
God, you would love all of these shows. Take over now.
I guess. All right.
Just for the record, cheers. Love you, buddy.
Do it. Thank you. I love you too. Did you hear? I changed my microphone setting. Is it okay? Do I sound okay?
You sound much better. I'm not getting that echo we've been getting.
I have such a lack of self-confidence. It's really bad.
The only thing that
Anywho.
oh, there it is. We got the glow up on the microphone itself. What I hate about my microphone is it doesn't do that.
Blame Omar Cut this because he got me the same microphone he has that does the glowy sparkly.
You know what? He could have sent me a damn email. I mean, I didn't know him then, but he still could have.
Well, you can always upgrade. We'd like you to get a better camera, man. But that's
I will upgrade the camera. I'm not going to upgrade the microphone. My microphone is spectacular.
No, your microphone
even though
is
it's not
good.
pretty.
You need better lights and a better camera. We'll work on it. And you can't see it in this angle, but I actually put back my rope light. You can barely see a few of them behind me here. I kind of put back in this rope light here. That was the fixture of my old room in my old apartment. I just want to add one thing to the rundown of albums of the year that you did for 2002, next to Deliverance by Opeth, which is their masterwork to me.
That Squeal Like a Pig or related to Squeal Like a Pig?
Not at all. They did Deliverance and Damnation at the same time, within half a year of each other, which I love both of them equally. I think Damnation might even be my favorite.
This is actually
One of my
not long before I saw Opeth, because I saw them at Sounds of the Underground when I saw GWAR for the first time.
Sounds of the Underground. I missed that so much. And All That
I
Remains
also
was
saw
on that
Lamb
same tour.
of God there.
They were there. All That Remains was a headliner on that tour, by the way, along with GWAR. Yeah. Besides today's Mastodon album, Deliverance and Damnation were my favorite records of that time, even though you read off quite a bunch of bangers. And I weirdly have a lot of the records from that era. And I appreciate
It's
you
a
mentioning...
really good year.
I really appreciate you mentioning the birth of the new wave of American heavy metal, which included Hatebreed and Killswitch Engage and All That Remains, and soon to be, Shadow
36
Fall.
Crazy Fists. That's actually the first band that I got into where I heard that phrase. Shout out to John Freeman, who used that phrase on the 36 Crazy Fish records. 36 Crazy Fish record I reviewed. God damn it, anyway.
Band from Anchorage, Alaska.
Seriously?
Anywho, and a post-hardcore band and like sort of the pre-emo post-hardcore bands. And they're good. I like, they're good at what they do. I like them more than Glassjaw, which I know is like a sacrilegious thing to say, but I do like 36 Crazy Fists. They're still around, kicking around a little bit. So let's talk about some Mastodon. We're going to find out in this series at the end of it if it's either Mastodon or Astodon, because Nick has not been a fan, and I have urgently begged him to do this series in an attempt to get him to see what I see in this band that I love. But he may not end up seeing it, because we are different guys.
We have literally been going round and round on this since we started doing this, basically.
I get moments. I do love the band enormously, not gonna lie. But also, I think the reason they're successful, why they're good, what they do that is underrated, how they have worked in underground sludge metal and avant-garde music into mainstream metal is insane that they've gotten as big as they have. By the way, also, because I'm Space Case today, Mastodon and Lamb of God put out a single together. Not like a split single. They put out a song they did together. Now, honestly, I saw the behind the scenes, and it's more like Randy from Lamb of God singing with Mastodon, but it's billed as a collaborative song that they wrote together called what is it? I just had it. Oh, my God. The Floods of Triton with like a very nautical theme, which is a thing with Mastodon, nautical themes. So let's talk about Mastodon. And to talk about Mastodon, we need to talk about the band Today Is the Day. Very worthy of an early run when we stop hit fishing and we go do underground shit again. Today Is the Day is the noise grindcore legendary band, originally from Massachusetts, and then Nashville, and then Maine, and then other places. Today Is the Day is a band that starts in the early 90s. They're very underground. They get signed to Relapse, and they put out their classic underground metal, Decibel Magazine Hall of Fame. If you were building a record collection of the most avant-garde, underground, best extreme metal bands, Today Is the Day would definitely be one of them. I have an interview, or maybe I'll link it here.
I think I've already got that record collection, and it's not there.
Okay. I smoked weed with Steve Austin. His weed was excellent.
I'm now just going to be jumping in from time to time so I can say something.
You should non sequitur it up. So Today Is the Day puts out their major label debut after a bunch of underground self-releases. Steve is also a genius producer. He's produced Lamb of God. He produced every great underground metal band you like and death metal band, and his own records. And he also has a side outlaw country project out now. A song and an album coming soon. So
I love outlaw country. I should check that out.
He had moved to Nashville because it was a place to get a lot of work in the music industry. Even if it wasn't bands you liked, you could make a living there. And he recruited. There's a band in upstate New York called Lethargy, not to be confused with Liturgy, but Lethargy, which was kind of a death metal-y sludge band. Fans of Neurosis and Melvins and Isis, the band, and stuff like that. And that band contained two guys, Bron Dollar and Bill Kelleher. And those guys ended up getting recruited out of that band to go join another lineup of the band Today Is the Day for Today Is the Day's second major label album, or major metal label album, In the Eyes of God, with artwork by Paul Booth, if you want to look it up. It's like dead beheaded Jesus Christ with ram's horns plugged into his scalp. Cool imagery.
Whenever I say Jesus Christ now, my kid says to me in the middle of it, "Don't say superstar."
She's correct. Anyhow, but if you want to,
great record though. Great record. We should do that as a chaser.
I thought we did, but I could be wrong.
We have not. We have absolutely.
Wasn't on DMA. You sure you have a list of all the DMAs?
I mean, on Spotify, I have a list of.
Shout out to Duncan Evans. Maybe you should do a Spotify playlist for Glacially Musical of all the DMA bands.
I will ask the child how to do one of those.
Maybe you can just pay her to do it, because you're never going to figure it out yourself. I know this.
Did you just call me a Luddite? I'm 48.
I didn't say you were. I meant you were incapable, not you're a Luddite. Anyway, so Bren. That's not better. It's worse. Bren and Bill joined Today Is the Day for a year to make that album and a year of touring. And it's raging. This album's grindcore and sludge metal and avant-garde noise and all this stuff. And Bill is an exceptional guitarist, and Steve Austin, the leader of Today's Day, is an incredible guitarist. And they do a run with those guys. And I think, Steve, he's a little bit eccentric, and so I think his crazy kind of rubs off on people a little. So he doesn't ever have a lineup too long. Often he will, the lineups will come and go. So these guys end up, Steve moves from Nashville to Western Mass, which is not close to Rochester, where Bill and Bron are from, but, they were definitely moving in a different trajectory and wanted to do their own band after the year of touring. But they got on the radar because of Lethargy and because of Steve Austin and Today's the Day. They got on the radar of Relapse. So they moved to Atlanta, and they start ingratiating themselves into the scene. Now, I'm not going to say that Atlanta and Savannah are close by. They're not, and they're not related scenes much, but there was great underground metal coming from both Atlanta and Savannah at the same time, because within a few years of Mastodon forming, which I'm about to go into, also Baroness forms in Savannah, because
I was going to jump in to throw that scene out of Georgia,
right.
Baroness, Kylesa, Royal Thunder
Black
later. Great
Black
city.
Tusk, Black Tusk. Like a lot of bands are from there, but not to say that Atlanta and Savannah are right close by or related. It's not Spokane and it's not Seattle and Tacoma. They're not that close, but they are. It's interesting that at the same
It's like
time.
St. Louis and Kansas City.
Yeah, at the
It's the
same
same state,
time,
but it's far away.
yeah, at the same time, these underground scenes are forming with very outsider music that ends up becoming some of the most popular bands 20 years later. Just crazy. So Mastodon, the guys at Mastodon, Bron and Bill, are living in Atlanta and trying to start a new band, and they are at a High on Fire show, and they meet Brent Hines and Troy Sanders. Troy Sanders, you might know his brother Kyle, who is currently the bass player of Kerry King's band, but he's also been in a bunch of metal bands like Blood
I know
Simple
his
and Hell Yeah.
grandfather.
Please don't say Colonel Sanders, please.
Okay, I won't. Harlan Sanders.
They're not related. Anyway, Sanders is an extremely popular and common American
That's actually
last
my
name.
dinner tonight.
Jesus Christ. Cheese and rice. KFC, I can't eat the fast food anymore anyway. If I was going to eat any fast food, it would be Popeyes. But honestly, Popeyes chicken sandwich, I'll take you to the bank every time. But KFC fucked up when they got rid of the wedges. Those potato wedges were gold.
Go to
Just go
Lee's.
around.
They got those all day long, and I don't want
We
them.
don't have a Lee's. I don't know what
Oh,
that
you don't have
is.
Lee's? I mean, we got
No.
in St. Louis. I got KFC, I got Lee's, I got Popeyes, and I got Churches. I think.
We drove by Lee's and you were like, Lee's, but not that one. Don't go to that one.
Wait a minute, which one? The one by my house? No, I go to
Yeah,
that one.
You
I
said
mean,
don't go to
I
that
have. I can think of 3 Lee's. There's one by my office, one by my
one.
old house, one by
We
new
drove
house.
home from the lunch we had. Was it the Vietnamese lunch? Or the
We had
Chinese
Viet-
food lunch?
We didn't have Chinese food, did we?
I thought well, something.
Shit, I don't
Um,
remember. I know we had a Slinger. I know we had Steve's.
I thought we had like a Vietnamese lunch or a
Oh
Chinese
crap, we
food
had
lunch.
4 days, didn't we? How much
You
did
need
I
a lot of
drink
time.
that weekend?
A lot.
Fair enough.
A whole lot. A whole lot. I'm losing all my lights here, so like this is pretty funny.
Do you want me to
Um,
talk? I mean, I could just start
No, I
pontificating
got
about
it.
godly
No, I got
bullshit.
it. So Mastodon, they formed the band, and they have a lead singer, Eric Satter, and he's in the band for a while, kind of like a Pink Floyd, Sid Barrett situation, but not as important. But Eric was interesting. He, ends up not getting along with the guys, and they're like, yeah, it's not working out. He leaves, and they record, some EPs. And as they're getting ready to record these EPs and they get rid of Eric, they decide like, well, we really don't like any other singers in the area. I guess Troy and Brent are gonna sing, and we'll just figure it out. Which happens sometimes. Hey, there's nobody to sing. Well, you sing. Well, I never wanted to be a singer. Well, now you are. So
Mike
Troy-
D, come to the stage, please. Mike D.
Yeah. So that's how Mastodon takes off. And originally, and like these are very creative guys. Bill could have led his own band. He's not a vocalist at all, but he could have led his own band with his writing prowess. Troy is extremely talented on bass, and he ends up becoming a great singer, but he wasn't originally. He was like a very rough and raw, extreme metal singer. Brent is a very unconventional, ingenious level guitarist and musician, and Bron is actually hyper musical, but he had really only written some songs and played drums. But he ends up kind of growing in importance over time. But he's a big concepts and lyrics guy, even from the beginning. So, Mastodon gets on the radar of Relapse. They did 100 shows in the southeast of the USA in like a year and a half, which is a lot for a band that works full time and doesn't have music as a career. And it was grueling for them. They put out two EPs, Slick Leg and Mastodon. I think the self-titled. I had the list here ready to go, and of course now I lost it. But Amtrak. No. And they start working on, like, basically they retool some of those songs from the demo stage and the EP stage that they had done with Eric, and they retool them into, they had done like a demo in 2000. That's what gets them signed. Most of the songs on that demo end up being on Slick Leg, released in 2001, and Life's Blood, not self-titled Mastodon, later in 2001. So, Slick Leg is an EP on a 7-inch. Relapse puts out the Life's Blood EP, so they already signed the band with the anticipation and that was kind of like, that's a Relapse, that's an underground metal playbook special. sign a new band, have them quickly put out an EP of some kind, and then groom them to make the full length. And that's what they did with
In
Mastodon.
later years, they started calling that the mini LP.
The mini LP, that is correct. So Mastodon.
I'm sorry, I was
retooling.
just making sure everybody knew I was still here.
You're still here. Yeah, well, I mean, like, I have to talk about this stuff because this is my
Completely,
my
you
series and my
totally
band.
do. This is you.
This is me. So they start retooling some of these earlier songs and writing new ones, and some of this stuff was played as far back as 2000 and 2001, and they even did a radio show in New York City where they played arguably half the record already 2 years before it came out, or a year and a half before it came out. And
Well, I mean, it's every band. Your first record is often the best. Not Metallica notwithstanding, Pink Floyd notwithstanding, because you have your whole life to write the first record. Your second record.
well, this
is the
isn't
worst
there.
because you have
This
6
isn't
months.
anybody that this. I think what the key thing here in early Mastodon history, prehistoric Mastodon, haha puns. I think the thing here is, I think the thing here is that none of these guys. This is their first band. They had all been touring. They had all had. Brent had his own musical projects and bands. Again, Troy had been in bands. They're all skilled. They're all songwriters. They're all got an interesting perspective. And again, you have metalcore and neo thrash and death metal and grindcore and stoner doom and sludge and all these different things happening. And these guys kind of sum up some of those things in a time, and they are a complete outlier to a lot of these other bands, except their brethren across the state.
And
That's my point.
This is what makes this era interesting. You go back 20 years, you go back to Metallica's first record. Previous podcast subject, 1,000 times Metallica. Nobody was in another band. Lars had never been in a band. I don't care what he says. If he says he was lying. He played tennis the week before he got those drums. Now we're 20 years later, where living this horrible life on the Sunset Strip, being in 18 bands at one time, hoping one of them gets signed, is a legitimate lifestyle. I know we've all seen Howard the Duck with Cherry Bomb. That was real life. The world changes. The world has changed at this point in time. So when you get these bands that come together, probably 80% of all metal bands today are technically supergroups. How many emails do you get? Let's say members of 15 bands are in this band. Most of the emails I get about new bands are about bands that are filled with people that have released about 45 albums between the 4 guys in the band, which is what makes the music better going forward. I will shut up now.
Yeah, I will say that James Hetfield had some other bands before Metallica. And
Yeah,
so
James
Mustaine
did.
had,
I'm
Mustaine
talking
had,
about Lars.
No, not Lars. Mustaine had Panic, and obviously Kirk Hammett later replacing Mustaine was in Exodus. So, but I know what you mean specifically about Lars. Lars,
Yeah.
hey, can I get a song on that compilation? I'll make a band for it. Like
I'll make
that's how
my
Metallica
first band to be on
and
your
they're gonna,
compilation.
and they're going to be so great. You're never going to forget us. He was right. And this is a guy.
And not
he
only
might
are
have-
they going to be so great, but we're going to conquer the world
He
and
might
be
have-
28 times larger than any metal band could ever be.
He might have bullshitted his way into that thing, but he backed it up ever since. Like, let's
He
give
he did not bullshit his way. He manifested it. He
guess.
manifested.
I think it was bullshit.
I'm sorry, I got a
But all right.
13-year-old kid.
All right, buddy. It was an educated wish. So
What is that
I'm never
from?
gonna.
I know what that is. What's that from?
Deadpool.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I've only seen it once.
He said, "Yeah, I've seen it 6 times now." Anyway, I did.
Holy
I
shit,
I
Lunchbox.
did fall asleep once. Well, I have the AMC like A-list, so I can go all the time. I have
we
to get
got,
away
we got the
from my-
one right below
I'm,
that.
I'm in my own private hell, so I have to go escape to the movies all the time.
Escape to the
Suspiria's playing
movies?
Movies. I do sometimes
Oh.
escape to the movies.
The movies?
Suspiria is playing at the Indie Movie House in my area this weekend. So further on Mastodon, so they prepare Remission, and Remission ends up being this place. And we know better than to crib things from Wikipedia, but just to source the Wikipedia, entry on Remission. A thing happens to Bran in his teenagehood that affects him the rest of his life. His teenage sister commits unalivement. I've been dealing with this a lot in my personal life lately with a lot of this. It's really hard. And so, just really difficult since the summer. And, it affected him and he never dealt with it when he was younger because he's a teenager and he didn't know what to do. And they just kind of like had a funeral for his sister and moved on. And he was like, I have a void in my life now. So a lot of his stuff ends up being written to cope with it. And he's like, when I was in lethargy and Today Is the Day, I was really angry. So I channeled that anger into my song making and my drumming. But when I got into Mastodon, I really felt, I moved to Atlanta. Moving to Atlanta was so cool and such a breath of fresh air for him to live in a major city and thrive in a metal underground scene that he felt like, oh, I want to heal now. I'm getting older and I want to get some positive healing from this. So Remission...
I'm going to quickly jump in real quick. At the time when he's 14 and when his sister dies, she's 13... We're talking about an age where therapy was for crazy people. If you went to therapy, that was a source of embarrassment for your grandparents. Thankfully, we are getting better. I have an appointment in a couple of weeks. If you are not feeling great, get an appointment, talk to somebody, feel better. Cheers.
Yeah, fair enough. I think technically he's 15 and she's 14, but just in case people want to get out there and correct us.
Give me your actually boners, Mastodon fans.
Yeah, well, that's going to happen. Anyway, so...
It always happens.
I hope it happens. Thanks to everybody that listened to that David Gilmour episode. I hope you're now listening to this Mastodon episode. Anyhow...
That's a weird jump. We made a weird jump.
We did make a weird jump, but I'm full of weird jumps. So Mastodon puts out Remission, and so Remission is not only has songs that address lyrically and thematically what happened to Bran, it kind of sets the course for the band because these early albums we're going to do, this is loosely a concept record, and all the early Mastodon records focus on an element, an element of nature. And so the element for Remission is fire, like chemotherapy remission, right? You're suffering and then you have a remission of your pain and suffering and you get cured a little bit. So hopefully, so Remission. And so it doesn't feel like a concept record when you think about it on the whole, but then when you go back and re-listen, I think there's definitely a lot of interesting things there. Also, Mastodon just naturally is a band that has like a fantasy element to them and just an epicness to them when they write. So they don't do anything halfway. If they're going to be sludgy, they're going to be super sludgy. If they're going to be thrashy, it's hella thrashy. If they're going to be noisecore, it's going to be super noisy. They don't play around. They came to F out and not F around. Pure metal and swearing.
So they rock out like the Chili Peppers.
Please don't say that. Anyway, so...
I won't say it. Everybody knows what it is. That's why I say Chili Peppers.
So... Remission is released in May of 2002, and as Nick mentioned, it is leashed unto the world in this time. The band was already kind of getting props from the in the metal journalism world. I deeply remember it being mentioned in Metal Edge and Revolver, and the EP, and then Remission comes out on the strength of like one of the most officially the single doesn't come out until later. And the video doesn't come out until later, but everybody was talking about this one song, March of the Fire Ants. It's got an absolute banger riff. It is still arguably their best song. It's one of their best songs still, if not their best song to this day.
Great
just happens that
title.
way.
Great
sometimes, title. Yeah, sometimes you just make your best song right out of the gate. They have many other great songs now. And so they put this record out, and without further ado, let us... I think leading to the success of the record... their video for March of the Fire Ants was played on Uranium, which was a thing, and Much Music, and Headbangers Ball, and one of their songs.
We had Headbangers Ball then?
The new Headbangers Ball was 2001 to 2005.
Okay, I couldn't remember.
Jamie Josta is the host, and they were a guest on there.
It was
they
Jamie
ended up
Josta?
They meet at a High on Fire show, and then March of the Fire Ants ends up as a 7-inch single split with High on Fire. So they meet at a High on Fire show 2 years earlier, and then they're putting out a record with High on Fire on the same label, which is like, what? How?
I guess it's safe to say I did not pay much attention to the second round of Headbangers Ball.
Yeah, Headbangers Ball. And there's also a couple of other songs were on some compilations, as well as Tony Hawk's Underground skating game had another song on it, Crush a Destroyer,
which one?
That's a Crush a Destroyer.
No. Which Tony Hawk?
Tony Hawk's Underground.
Oh, not Tony Hawk Pro Skater?
It's the one after Pro Skater 4. So they were moving away from Pro Skater and they went to Tony Hawk's Underground.
If I could make a slight aside, presently we are watching movies outside as a family. The first movie was Gleaming the Cube. Then the child decided we were going to watch Boom Boom Sabotage, starring Tony Hawk. At which point the wife decided we were now going to do a 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon style movie. So this is the Tony Hawk suite. So my choice is Thrashin', starring James Brolin and Tony Hawk.
Great movie, absolutely great movie. You also need to watch if you're gonna do all that and you want to give.
We're already done.
You want to do one more. You have to watch Lords of Dogtown, because that is the essential skater film of all time.
Is Tony Hawk in it?
He might be it.
This is a Tony Hawk suite.
I understand, but
I think next
Heath Ledger at his finest.
There are only
Joker.
3 of us.
The cat should get a vote and should vote for Lords of Dogtown.
Which cat?
Leia.
Boo Boo does not get a vote.
Silly Goose, whatever.
No, it's just Goose. It's not silly Goose. It's just Goose. No, the cats don't get a vote. I think the next suite will be Josh Brolin. So could be Goonies.
Could be Goonies. All right, let us not delay any further. This episode is already rather long and full of craziness. Sorry. No, well, much like Mastodon,
I love that.
All over the place, just like Mastodon. So let's talk about Remission, their debut full-length album.
That's right.
And it kicks off with the incredible and chaotic Crush a Destroyer, which again was on the Tony Hawk game. These first 2 songs out of the gate just slap all the nuts and faces. But it is my nuts in faces. It's very chaotic. The vocals are extremely harsh, and it's only 2 minutes long. It's in and out, but I gotta say, its musicianship is bananas. And again, it's all these things that the band channels, all these different influences. Thoughts on the opening track, Crush a Destroyer, Nicholas?
Everything you said is correct. I do not like this song even a little.
That's fair. I'm gonna predict right now, the earlier Mastodon records are probably not gonna resonate with you. And the second 2 of the series, the third and fourth, are going to hit with you well.
Why didn't we start there?
Because you can't start there. You have to start here. We made it this way.
Which one of us decided this dumbass idea? Was it me?
I mean, we did it a long time ago. We got to start at the beginning. It was probably me.
I don't know that we have any hard and fast rules, except that what we decide on the day we record is what we're doing.
I am type A personality, and I have a minor in musicology. My nerd.
I'm a type B personality with a minor in criminal justice.
I don't pick up a series in the middle. My friend is watching a show, and I'll watch a little of an episode, but I'm not going to binge watch multiple episodes in the middle of a series with someone.
I'm with you on that.
I don't do it. I don't want to. If I like it, maybe I'll go back and watch from the beginning, but I'm not going to just suddenly watch them all.
Okay, let's move forward.
So, okay, but I think it's a great song. Fine, Nick, indifferent. Nick's gonna be indifferent. A lot of this is probably too brutal and harsh for Nick, because it's not quite death metal. No, listen, it's extreme and it's too avant-garde for Nick's taste, and it's not core death metal. So it's the context is wrong. I think for you. I'm just making an assertion. You can defend me.
I'm making faces that no one can see because I'm not talking when I make them.
Make them now.
I didn't make any of the faces I made.
All right. Again, the aforementioned epic, incredible 4 minutes and 25 seconds March of the Fire Ants. Dun 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 da 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 da. Everybody knows that riff. That riff is the riff that launched the band into the ephemera and the consciousness of metal fans in 2002. Video is great. Their first music video ever, which was kind of hilarious and interesting and disturbing. And it's just a banger. Just a straight up banger.
Yeah, hard to disagree on that one. The problem with this record so far is and it's very progressive, extraordinarily progressive, and I actually really do love Brent's vocals. However, one of the things we run into on my other podcast, the Department of Metal Antiquities, is when a band tries so hard to show they're smart. It's a lot like when I'm talking, trying so hard to be smart that I get the I get the fresh fish. When I was a wrestler, I was a wrestler. I don't know if I ever mentioned this on the podcast. Actually, I don't think I have. I was a wrestler for 3 years. I was an amateur wrestler because I wanted to be a pro wrestler, and I believed that the best way to get to the NWA to fight Ric Flair in the squared circle was by going into amateur wrestling. It's actually totally not the way. But we were told that if you get on your back, act like a fish on land. So where you're just completely, and that's how the next track, that's how March with the Fire Ants strikes me. It's a
Okay, fair
dude
enough.
on his back trying not to be pinned.
Did you say the NWA or the WNBA? I missed that acronym. What does that stand for?
NWA, the National Wrestling
Oh, I
Alliance,
thought you were
at
gonna,
one
I thought you were
time
gonna express
headquartered.
yourself. I thought you were gonna do that. NWA.
Hey, I may be straight out of Compton Heights, which I took you through at my old place. Compton Heights was the adjacent neighborhood to my old house. But no, I am not straight out of Compton. I do not express myself. And I am not going to say anything else they say because they use words I'm not going to use as a white person. But the the fish the fish thing is what gives me. I don't have anything to sink my face into to really dig. They
That's fair.
change too much for me.
All right. I also want to just so like it is difficult to kind of ascertain the two guys trading vocals. So Troy's voice is a little at this point in the first album. Troy's voice is a little ahead of Brent's. He's really good at extreme like screamed vocals, and most of the vocals are screamed and not sung here. Um, Brent goes for a little weirder because he's a weird guy. He's just weird and likes weird progressive rock influences and stuff like that. Brent will go on later on to say that he actually doesn't consider Mastodon even a metal band. Clearly, anyone hearing this would call them a metal band. This is a metal record by every stripe. And Brent's voice will take on different characters and stuff, and he'll try different things that are like even just out of the box strange, Melt Banana style or Boris or any of these other bands, Psy. And Troy's got a little more of the standard hardcore screamy scream voice. Again, these are not things that Nick would normally gravitate to. But March of the Fire Ants, easily the best song on the record, in my opinion, far and away.
Oh yeah, this is definitely the best song on the record in my opinion too.
And
Which
Nick
is
doesn't like it.
unfortunate.
It's unfortunate for you, but anyway, unfortunate. That's funny. So the third
No,
song.
the word is unfortunate. Unfortunate.
All right, I don't know what that reference is from.
It's something I made up. It's one of the few things in the world.
It's a
not
Nickism.
reference.
It's a Cameronism. Cameron Bonics. Anyway, instead of phonics, Cameron Bonics. The third track on the album is the first of many songs which reference mythical creatures and prehistoric creatures. Where Strides the Behemoth. Again, a shorty, under 3 minutes. And again, another complex and heavy song. But this one's a little more, less aggro and more like a interesting sludge post-metal song like Melvins or Neurosis, which is a huge influence on this band. We're not going to talk a lot about Neurosis. They're going to come up a lot in future episodes. We're going to try not to talk too much about the guy from Neurosis that's on those records, although he's very important to them as sort of as an extra member. Where Strides the Behemoth like shows off, I think, the versatility of the band that they are able to try different things. The first step of it, at least.
I'm not sure if I can be heard. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. I tried to adjust my microphone. Again, I have the same problem. This these songs change so much. I can't latch on. I can't find the riff. I mean, the riff, the memory, the something. It's not there. It is avant-garde. It's not the kind of avant-garde that I like. I like ethereal avant-garde where you're like, you know what? Somebody start a beat and I'm going to play a riff and 20 minutes later stop the tape. That's not what this is. So yeah, so far nothing has changed my mind even a little.
Not a yeah. Again, I don't think this is going to be the record to do it, but it's important, and it's important to me. I will also say I think these are similar complaints you had about Faith No More at different stretches on the records of theirs you did not like.
Well, you know
So I
what? If
think
you don't have a riff that I can sink myself into, if you don't have a moment, if it doesn't feel like a song to me, yeah, I'm gonna have that issue regardless of who does it, whether it's Mike Patton and Jim Martin and the Master and Mike Borden and whatever 18 other people that are there, or whether it's these guys with the creepy ass face tattoos and the curly hair. It's gonna be the same for me.
Brent was one of the most heavily tattooed people in the pre everyone's got a tattoo on their face era. He had extensive tattoo work even when they first came out. They were like the pre-hipster hipsters.
Just
Before
for the
Brooklyn
record,
had hipsters.
I do have tattoos. I'm not making fun of anybody for having tattoos. I have one little one on my forearm, and I've got a pretty significant one on my leg. So
I thought you
I
had
am
a
tatted.
Mega Ran tramp stamp.
Only he would know.
Former guest of the show, Mega Ran, who has a remix album of Buddy's Magic Toy Box right now. Remix album. Anywho, so where strides the behemoth? Now for Nick. Okay, Workhorse is an earlier song that they developed for this album, and again another kind of sludgy metal song. I think the soft underbelly is not here; it's on side 2. But Workhorse is solid. They did play it live a lot. I didn't. I'll mention it after I saw them live in this era, but I'll talk about the show after this as the wrap up. Any strong feelings either way about Workhorse? Yes or no?
I like the sludge. I like the vocals. The songwriting, however, is, and I'm gonna repeat myself frequently today. All the parts are there. They're just not making them dance in the way that I like.
That is your taste. This is the very Melvinsy song, by the way, and I love Melvins.
And
Very
I,
Melvins.
you know what I love about the Melvins? The Melvins to me are the Andy Kaufman of metal. When I hear or watch a show where Andy Kaufman reads The Great Gatsby to his crowd, I'm like, oh my God, that is the funniest thing I've ever heard. But you know what the worst thing I would have ever heard was? Andy Kaufman reading The Great Gatsby when I paid to hear Latka. And that's how I see the Melvins. And you know what? They're an avant-garde art thing, which is great, but it doesn't have to be for me.
That's fair. All right. Now we get another album highlight, and this is a song similar to Fire Ants, and I mentioned Behemoth thematically. Ol' Nessie begins a run of nautical-themed songs and albums, even. Ol' Nessie is about the Loch Ness Monster. It sounds like a sea shanty a little bit. The drums
I believe
are
the word
very
is chanty.
whatever, sea chanty. The drums have a very nautical rhythm and ebb and flow, and it's a beautifully done song. It's absolutely not like anything else on the record except maybe the last track, and it shows off, I think, their absolute skill as guitarists and musicians.
I wish I could agree with you. Moving on.
Alrighty. Flip the record to the soft underbelly of the record.
We're already flipping the damn thing?
We are flipping the damn thing. I think maybe there's one more and then a flip. I'm sorry. So Burning Man
Alright,
is the
fair
next
enough.
track, and then Burning Man is the next track, and it's my least favorite song on here. It's just okay. I also have a bad association with Burning Man and weird people, and what Burning Man is versus what this is about. May not be about Burning Man, but I just thought it was a very blatant reference. But perhaps in hindsight, it isn't. Not my favorite song on the record.
Well, it's probably not a reference to 2002, but I mean, what do I know? I'll let you know when I find my least favorite song on this record, or my favorite. So, moving on.
Yeah, Nick probably has none. All right. Anywho, we've had these before.
I'm
Again,
sorry.
Faith No More, Angel Dust. Nick hated 90% of. Everyone agrees it's a classic. Like, whatever.
Look, I'm willing to have a minority opinion,
Yeah.
and I remember having a conversation on Twitter with somebody saying, "You don't like Mastodon? Listen to these 7 records." And I'm like, wait, no. If you want me to get into a band, sorry, I'll shut up.
Let's just try to get through this, because you don't like it. Next track's a little bit better than Burning Man. Trainwreck, one word, Trainwreck. A 7-minute song. It's a little longy boy. This is more of what I think is a progressive metal song. And again, at this time, you have Dream Theater, and you have Hammerfall, and you have Symphony X, are bands that are things, and you have Devin Townsend making progressive metal. Even with Strapping Young Lad, his brutal death metal band is still progressive metal. And to me, this is a different flavor of progressive metal. This is like, we're showing all the sides here. We could be noise, we could be sludge, we could be thrash, we could be grindcore, we could be hardcore feeling at times. We got choppy riffs. Like, this is a really good song. Nick probably doesn't have any strong feelings.
No, I don't. I'm glad you enjoyed this record, and I'm glad I've given you the opportunity to speak about it.
Yeah, moving along. Trampled Under Hoof, I always thought was a clever nod to Trampled Underfoot.
Great
Led
title.
Zeppelin. Great title. Again, the Earth theme, the Fire theme, sorry. I think the Fire theme comes back in a couple of places. Burning Man, also the Fire theme. Trampled Under Hoof is a shorter, faster one. It's good that they have like short songs in between these longer ones to chop it up a little bit. And this is a solid song. They used to play this live all the time.
I'm glad you can tell the songs are different. I cannot.
All right, then. Trilobite, another great album title. I mean, these song titles are fantastic, top-tier song titles. Trilobite's another
amazing title. Amazing title.
Yeah, great title. Makes you think of things. Good lyrics. Like, we don't really... I think lost in this cacophony of sounds and styles is that this band right out of the gate has very good lyrics. And again, Braun is a contributor to some of these, like, subtly undercredited about lyrics early on. But some of this stuff came from him. And Trilobite's a good one.
Love the title. Don't love the song. Just for the record, if I am sounding awful today, I apologize.
No, I don't mean like you sound awful, or are you feeling like you are being awful?
If I feel like I feel like I may not be really contributing in a way that I think people are used to.
Yep. I think you like the next one more.
That means
I think you like the next record more. I knew you were not gonna like this vibe with this early couple albums. I knew it, and I did it anyway.
Okay, fair enough.
People are gonna side with me and agree with me, and they're gonna dog you, and that's fair. There's plenty of stuff. I hate Journey. I don't like every record by Styx. I dislike a lot of things people love. It's cool. I'm not a contrarian.
I hate everything people love, and it's not on purpose.
Yeah, I do usually hate everything people love. So
me too.
One of the album highlights. The album finishes out extremely strong with 2 excellent tracks, and I just want to send a shout out again. All of my feelings and depression this week. It's either sadness or euphoria, just like Billy Joel said. But Mother Puncher is one of the better songs on here. It's an early, deep cut. It's a strong track. It kicks all the ass. And Mother Puncher was the favorite song of my late best friend, Emmanuel King. It was his favorite Mastodon song when we saw them a few times together. And they played this toward the end of the show 1 or 2 times. He was elated that they played this. This is a really great, aggressive song. Probably very close to March of the Fire Ants. It's interesting that the best songs on here are all slightly different. They're not 2 of the same anything, but this one is very heavy and aggressive like Fire Ants.
Big ups to when a band does something cool. And Mother Puncher, shout out to Quinn, the host of And Volume for All, because he calls his fans the Mother Punchers. Love that. Don't love the song.
All right, fair enough. And then finally, the album closes another, like, similar to Old Nessie. Yeah, stop. Similar to Old Nessie. where the band kind of lays the foundation for things to come later in their in their repertoire. They have many songs about Joseph Merrick, the Elephant Man, book, movie, play, character, etc.
That is kind of offensive. Moving on.
What? Why?
I don't know. I gotta say something.
All right. It's not offensive at all, actually. They're paying tribute. So they have many instrumental tracks about the Elephant Man. And this is the first one called Elephant Man. And it's about 5 minutes long. And then after a minute of silence, they just have sort of a static for 3 minutes. It's a curious ending to a record.
Yeah, I actually turned it off before it got to the hidden track.
Especially useless on vinyl. For like absolutely no reason.
Yeah,
at all.
I forget. Oh, it was GWAR. I was listening to GWAR, Carnival of Chaos, because I wanted to hear Odorous after seeing them the other night. And there's a hidden track on a vinyl record. You know what? If you do that, I hate you.
All right, fair enough. Fun fact, a deluxe, because Relapse is like Roadrunner, not quite as heinous, but Relapse will also reissue your record with bonus tracks and extra stuff to get you to buy it again or get you to buy it for the first time if you missed it. And so there's a 2003 deluxe edition, or maybe it came a little later, where they had put out a cover of Emerald by Thin Lizzy, my second favorite Thin Lizzy song, and it fucking rages.
Was it way better than the Ace and Slash version?
It is 100 times better than any Thin Lizzy cover, including Whiskey in the Jar. It rules. Go listen to it today.
Is it better because Ace is not singing it? Because I can't imagine that would hurt it.
So, this cover is so good, I think it ends up making them sing more on future records because they sang so good on this. Like, I love Thin Lizzy. We did a series on former
we did do a series on
Thin Lizzy series, Emerald. I said back then my two favorite Thin Lizzy songs, Cowboy Song and Emerald. Okay, you can have Whiskey in the Jar, and you can have Jailbreak, and you can have Boys Are Back in Town. I don't care for them. I care for those two songs.
How can you not care for those? Those are great songs.
They're played too much. It's like Stairway.
What are you, me and Mastodon now?
I don't know. You're not. No. Anywho, fun fact, unbeknownst to me, so Mastodon, like I was into it at the time. I didn't have it right away, but I was into it. And they were on MTV and things like that within a year or two. And in early 2003, Mastodon goes on a tour opening for the band Total Fucking Destruction, led by grindcore band led by Dan Lilker, formerly of Anthrax and also of SOD and Nuclear Assault and other bands. And I think he was in Lockup. I think he was in Terrorizer. Anyway, I go to there's a famous now defunct metal bar in Queens, New York, in Jackson Heights, the neighborhood of Jackson Heights, not too far from Flushing, and called Castle Heights. You may have seen me on the internet with Omar Cut This wearing matching Castle Heights shirts. I don't know where mine is right now. It might be in storage somewhere on the East Coast, but I need to get mine. By the way, I own all the Mastodon records, some of them multiple copies. I have none of them, I think, except one of them here, but I do own.
Is Flushing near Flatbush? I mean, I don't know.
Not at all. Not at all. Flatbush is the south end of Brooklyn. Flushing is the north end of Queens. Not remotely
Do
close.
not send me any of your extra Mastodon records.
I know. Well, I wouldn't anyway. I'm getting you're gonna come around on the third and the fourth one. I promise you. Anywho, you might even.
You
come
said
around
the same thing about Faith No More.
I did. I was wrong. Anyway, so the band comes on tour, and I go to Castle Heights frequently as a fan of shows, but also to give out flyers for my bands playing around at that time. And in that time, I was in my second semi-successful local New York City band called Hated. There are many bands now called Hated, but we ended up being called Hated BX for Bronx, New York. And I was a backup person in this band. We used to do kind of rap metal.
Why would it be Bronx?
Because we were like, a music was about being from the Bronx and the streets. And it was like if Suicidal Tendencies was from the South Bronx and, like not Vatos, but poor South Bronx guys. Which I'm technically not from the South Bronx, I'm from the North Bronx, but it's the same ghetto life. So I was like sort of the Billy.
I did not know there were multiple Bronxes.
There's only one Bronx. There's more than one Hated. You understand? I don't think you understand. Anyway.
No, I totally don't.
Okay. Hated. Period. So we played around New York City a lot, and we were basically, like I said, a Suicidal Tendencies, rap metal, hardcore band. And it was like I said, I was like Billy Biohazard. I screamed a lot, and I played bass, and I jumped in the crowd, and I used to mosh people with my bass guitar. And I used to go to metal clubs and give out flyers to our next shows. So I go to Castle Heights, pay the door cover, and just leave my flyers around and hand a flyer to everybody in the club instead of not paying to get in. And I felt like I was supporting bands. Sometimes I would discover some cool bands. I already liked Dan Lilker from being in Anthrax and Nuclear Assault. And I see this band, Mastodon, play. I've never seen them before. I've only heard of them a couple times. And I think I hadn't yet seen the Fire Ants video. And they surprised me. They were like chaotic on stage also, like just like you imagine this record is like, wow, this is a tough listen at first go. And it's the same thing live. It's like, I'm not sure what's happening here. The guys are clearly great musicians, but I'm not fully understanding. It's like my friend used to say about Slayer, are they playing the wrong solo to each song on purpose? And it's like, is Mastodon, wow, each guy playing the wrong part against each other, like clashing on purpose? But like, it starts to make sense after a while. Like, you understand.
That is a great description of what they do.
But it's like, it's not bad. It's not musically bad at all. Actually, it's brilliant. It's just like, it takes getting used to. It takes getting used to. And in hindsight, when you go hear the future, when you hear where they went from here, this will make more sense to you. Unfortunately, right now, hearing it in 2004, in 2024, with everything you know, you're like, I can't hear this.
Wait a minute. So do you still believe, even after this, that I'm gonna get on the trolley?
I 100% believe, if not on the next record, 100% you will get on the trolley on Blood Mountain and Crack the Sky. And if I'm wrong, you tell me. But I think I'm right.
I love your confidence.
I'm committed. I'm all in.
I'm always committed to the bit. Everybody knows I'm committed to a bit.
Yeah. So this record is 22 years old. It's pretty damn brilliant. They have already performed. I think maybe one time they performed the whole thing. Obviously, they just got off a tour where they performed next week's record in full every night, plus some hits. And again, collaborative track out now with Lamb of God, Floods of Triton. So I think this is pretty great. Go listen to the Thin Lizzy cover, Nick. That's an order. Go listen to it, and then also go listen to Get Ready for Next Week, or no, but you should listen to it. You really should, and everyone else should. And like I said, this is kind of like they became, even though they were not metalcore, even though they were doing a difficult style of music that was underground. I think being on Relapse and having kind of a cool backstory helped. But I think, like, on their own, this record ends up holding up very well later on, even if you don't personally like it, Nicholas. But in fact,
I feel singled out.
In fact, as you should, in a sea of stuff that all kind of was much more commercial, here is a band that today is one of the biggest bands in the scene, doing amphitheater co-headlining tours with Lamb of God, who came around at the same time on a similar underground label, Prosthetic. So, like, the more you know. That is my wrap-up for the show. If you have nothing more to add, I will take us home, because I think it's my turn.
I do. One, it's funny that you said the underground label Prosthetic, because they're one of the biggest labels in the world now. Two, I just can't imagine myself listening to this record ever again. Did not enjoy, and I will shut the hell up now. I gotta get that.
All right, you have to get that in. I never did my shirt check. I'm wearing a Goatwhore shirt, obviously. Anyway, you have been listening to the Glacially Musical Podcast as Nick dies laughing off microphone, literally dead of laughter. My sympathies go out to his child and wife and cats and beers
and my chicken.
And your chicken that's going to burn because you're not getting it. Thank you. If you've been here all the way through, you're amazing, because like this has been one of the hard scrabblingest ever episodes we've done. All respect due to my partner that does not like this record that I love, and that's fair. It's going to happen. It's happened with us before. It'll happen.
And I listened to it multiple times.
He did listen to it. He promised me he was going to listen to it twice. So if you listen to it more than twice, that's even more impressive.
It was just two.
All right. But anyway, thanks for listening. If you're here, if you managed to be here from one of the recent episodes on The Chasers, on Metallica, on Queen, on the David Gilmour episode, which has done very well, much to my pleasant surprise. Thank you. Every little bit helps. Thanks for liking and subscribing. Normally we don't beg for followers, but it'd be nice to get. We are going to launch that contest. I keep swearing we're going to. We haven't yet. Maybe tomorrow. We're going to launch the 100th subscriber vinyl giveaway that will be open to all vinyl subscribers. To all.
I'm sorry. I have to jump in. There will be more giveaways going forward. I am
Yeah,
already
of course.
formulating the 500 giveaway release.
I'm gonna
But
give Nick away for not liking this record
that's fair. We have to,
to another podcast partner, and I'm gonna go start another one.
I'm actually going to give away an extraordinarily valuable record for 500. I have already chosen it. I have already replaced it, so don't worry about Nick. Nick's fine.
According to YouTube Kung Fu, if we could get to the first 100, to get to the next few hundred is easier, and then to get to 1,000 is super hard. It was for us. Then it gets progressively better. But anyway,
So if you are listening to this, you must love vinyl.
well, I mean,
There
you
will.
must.
You probably do. I mean, really.
I hope nobody wins that listens to this that doesn't actually have a record player. But like, I'm not gonna gatekeep them from it. If they end up winning and then flipping those records, that's not in our hands.
No, not.
There's no way to like demand that someone have a turntable and play them. That would be like fascist.
No. What all I'm gonna say is if you are eligible for the 100, you'll be eligible for 500. Stay subscribed. There is going to be continual vinyl.
That's harder to do, but yes, you're not wrong. All right. Anyway, don't make promises, please, legally on this podcast anymore. We're running a contest. Definitely for the 100. Everybody that's subbed right now has a chance to win. I'm not sure about the 500. We'll see.
If you're still subbed.
If you're still subbed by then, who knows? You may not be. And that has been the Glacially Musical Podcast, first episode on Mastodon. Thanks for listening. I am your co-host, Keefy, GhostCultMag.com, at GhostCultMag, at GhostCultKeefy. Your host is Nick Cameron. This was his thing first. I came in later. I'm grateful to be here, even when he hates the things I love. And I love the things he hates. And as we say every week at the Glacially Musical Podcast conclusion, it is the Glacially Musical Podcast. It does not play in Peoria, but Mastodon has recently.